Hey, what's up, AFOLs? Ethan here again, and I want to talk to you today about the BAM controversy, or the Bricks and Minifigs controversy you may have heard of. If you have not heard of it, I don't know if you've been on vacation, under a rock, under a big pile of Lego, but it's pretty much everywhere on the internet, all over the Lego space, as well as other people that are not even in Lego are talking about this thing. So it's kind of a big thing going on. I waited a while to put out a video on this because I wanted to gather as much information as I could and start the conversation. So it's a little bit hard for me because I do know several people that are franchise owners that own a Bricks and Minifigs, and they're awesome people, and they're really hurting right now. I feel really bad about the whole situation because there's a lot of victims in this. I don't think it's just one victim. I think there's many victims in this going on, and basically what it breaks down to, in a nutshell, is there's a guy named Brian and his elderly father, and they consigned about $200,000 worth of Star Wars Lego to a Bricks and Minifigs in Oregon. Through the course of doing that, the Bricks and Minifigs changed owners, and the consignment was basically caught in limbo. So right now, they're out their Lego. They don't have their Lego, and they don't have the money for the Lego. And there's a YouTuber named Reckless Ben who's been covering this whole thing and trying to help the family get their Lego back, or get compensated in some way for this. And so I'm not going to go over the whole video or do a breakdown of it or something like that, but that's all of it in the nutshell. But I will put in the comments below the links to these videos. He's already put out 2 videos on this, and they're like a longer documentary style. So definitely worth a look if you haven't seen that yet. It's just a crazy thing happening in the Lego space right now. And like I said, I know people that are personally involved as far as franchise owners, and I think they're hurting right now. And I've seen, the response from what I've seen in the videos. There's a lot of evidence supporting what happened to these people and their collection and stuff. And then the response from corporate, at least corporate Bricks and Minifigs, has not been amazing at all. It's been a lot of like double talk, like politician style stuff, deer caught in the headlights, saying one thing and then saying the complete opposite thing. And it's just not been a great response. And like I said, I think there's multiple victims in this. There's Brian and his father, who are out there Lego collection and are not getting compensated, at least at this time, for that. People have been calling all over, just give them their Lego back, just give them the Lego back, or compensate them for that. They had a contract and all that, and you can see that in the videos and stuff, what it spells out legally and things like that. But they had a contract with that Bricks and Minifigs, and it's just it's turned into this, snowballed into this whole convoluted thing. I mean, they're definitely feeling it as far as not having their Lego and not being compensated. The father of Brian is ill during this whole process, so it's kind of taking a toll on the whole family. But you can kind of see that in the thing. There's also the previous owners of that location, the Bricks and Minifigs. They're getting a lot of heat, and they were forcibly removed from that location, and so all their life savings and everything was in that location. It was like in the middle of the night, they were asked to leave, or they were going to call law enforcement on them, so they just got forced out immediately. It wasn't like a gentle sale or transition. It just was like they were forcibly out, which I think caused a lot of these issues. And also, I think the other parties that are suffering are the owners, the franchise owners of these Bricks and Minifigs all across the country. So a lot of us in the Lego community have gone to Bricks and Minifigs for years, especially if you don't have like a Lego store. Like where I live, the closest official Lego store to me is like 3.5, 4 hours away in each direction. The closest place to me is my local Bricks and Minifigs. Because of this whole situation, the backlash that they're receiving, I know that, the franchise owners and the people that work there, they're Lego fans just like us, like AFOLs. They're just trying to feed their families and have a place where the Lego community can meet. And I feel like because of this whole situation, they're suffering as well. And it's really sad because of the corporate response. I think everybody's that has these franchises are getting, they're getting bombarded with negative reviews and people boycotting them, and it's just turned into this massive thing. And I feel like a lot of that is because of the corporate response or lack of it from the from corporate. And this is all, I think last year I read that their profits were $95 million. And this is all over a $200,000 thing. So they're going to go down possibly, they might go down over $200,000. And, that is a significant amount of money, but for a corporation that, is making multi millions of dollars, you have to ask yourself, I don't know who's in their PR department, but why are they doing this? All the Bricks and Minifigs that I know or have seen in all, all different states and things like that, they've all turned their comments off on all of their social media and stuff. And I don't know how they're doing day-to-day business with this big backlash. It's a story that's still unfolding. I don't know if they can come back from this. That's just my opinion. But if they did, I think they'd have to take some notes from the Papa John's playbook. Papa John's pizza. That's a pizza that I had for years and years and years. I think I remember them, when I was in my 20s, eating Papa John's pizza all the time. But then at 2018, the founder of Papa John's was caught using racial slurs in a conference call, and so that was recorded and everything. Huge scandal. Papa John's almost went down. The way they saved the business and all the franchises was the way they did that was he had to step down. He had to step down as CEO. He had to step down as on the board, and just he had to basically the company that he started. He had to walk away from it all in order for the business to thrive. And I think maybe that's what has to happen here with BAM, with Bricks and Minifigs. I think all these things as they continue to come to light are just horrible for Bricks and Minifigs. And like I said, especially the franchise owners that are people that I know, people that people that you've frequented over the years just to talk about Lego and the cool movies coming out and things like that. Like these spaces are suffering so bad, and the employees that work there as well. They're just trying to, feed their families and be there for the community. They're suffering so much because of this. And I think it's, there's a very good chance that that Bricks and Minifigs can't come back from this. But if they do, I think their CEO, that top CEO guy, is not doing them any favors as far as his responses. And they're just, you can see in some of the videos, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but several arrests or several attempted arrests for Reckless Ben that's trying to get this family's Lego back. They used some tactics, and the law enforcement used, in my opinion, a little bit of a color of law to get them in trouble or to try to get them arrested and things like that. And this is from a person that, I used to work with law enforcement for a long time, many law enforcement agencies. I used to, film with them all over the country. And when I saw some of that stuff that was going on, didn't make me feel the best. And it just seems like, I don't know, it just feels slimy and not a good way and not a good look for Bricks and Minifigs corporate. And I think the only way that they could possibly even survive this or come back from this would be for that CEO to step down, for them to make a public apology, whoever they get in, the new CEO, to make a public apology, make amends to the family. I think it's the Manziel family, and make that situation right and start fresh. I'm sure they've sent out like memos and things like that. This is how to respond to all these things happening at the store levels and stuff like that. But I don't even know if some of these owners at the Bricks and Minifigs, these franchise owners, what they're feeling, or they don't want to go down with the ship. But I don't know if in their bylaws or in even in the contracts, can they all come together collectively and say the decisions you are making are affecting our business, our livelihoods, and can they come together and sue them, come together in some concerted way try to battle Bricks and Minifigs corporate, or to try to save their businesses and things like that. I don't even know if it's written in there that they can't do that. They have to go to arbitration, or they can't collectively come together and sue. So I'm not sure. I don't know if they have a way to leave the contract and start, with the store they have, start their own store. Or is that written in there? They can't do that as well. I'm not sure, because I haven't seen any of these contracts. So I'm not. I have no idea. I'm just saying I feel bad for these people, all the people involved. Like I said, it's just bad all the way around, and people feel something about it because, as Lego collectors and as connoisseurs, I would say, you spend your life, a good portion of your life, some of us, amassing these collections, and then to put it into a system where you trust them with your collection, and you feel like they got your back on this, and then to be um, to be betrayed on any kind of level, breaks the trust and breaks the public trust. So everybody's, like I said, right now, everybody's staying away. Another thing I thought of, and I feel bad too, I don't know if anybody's talking about this, but there's a lot of people that just put their money in, they just signed up for the franchise, and they're waiting for their grand opening of their Bricks and Minifigs store that they put their life savings in. And now this whole bomb just went off. Is anybody going to go to their grand opening? Are they gonna, did they already lose before they even open day one? I mean, these are thoughts that I have. So let me know, um, in the comments below what you guys think, what you have seen, all over the country. There's over 300 Bricks and Minifigs here in the US, and some in Canada. And have you guys boycotted Bricks and Minifigs? Have you guys stopped going? Are you still going because you know the people locally, and you're separating them from corporate? Or, I just want to know. I just want to know in the comments below what have you experienced, and how has it made you feel differently about Bricks and Minifigs as a whole? Or are you going there still and supporting your local Bricks and Minifigs? I think a lot of people have a problem, if they were supporting them before, because every sale that Bricks and Minifigs has, a portion of it goes to corporate, and that's how corporate makes their money, not just from the franchise fees, but they're also making money on the sales. So people are like, well, if I don't go in, none of that money is going to go to corporate. So it's just like a bad situation all around. And also, guys, if you're feeling any of this content, and you like hanging out, if you could please like and subscribe, um, I'd be so thankful for that. Thanks. Anyway, like I said, everybody's talking about this, but the Reckless Ben videos, I've linked them both. There's 2 out right now. I've linked them both in the comments below. So as this thing unfolds, I don't know if I'm going to make another video about it or a follow-up video. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I know he's working on the 3rd video right now, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I just wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. I wasn't trying to not say anything, but I wanted to do it in a way that was fair. And, like I said, especially to, I have friends that own actual Bricks and Minifig franchises, and I honestly don't know what they're going to do. And there's gotta be a way. Nice talk, guys. I'll see you in the next one.